is pressed.
Oh.
Look at that.
What's up, guys? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy night to watch Matt's hair grow even longer.
It's now actually becoming more formed. Like I can actually do things with it and like put it to the side and it's not just going everywhere.
So are you starting to like research your options if you decide not to cut it? Do you have a style goal in mind?
Does it look like I do?
Not at the moment, but if you let it grow long enough, like the things you could achieve, who knows?
I am not well versed enough in haircuts to think that far ahead. All I know is that wings.
Wings are nice. I need a beer for this conversation. Ready?
I don't know if I want to try this yet, but
1, 2, 3. Happy Friday. All right, tell us what you're drinking.
So for the people who don't know, Bud Light Seltzer released what they're calling the Ugly Sweater holiday package. And what that means is all holiday flavored Bud Light Seltzers. And I'm going to try them all because I'm an idiot and I am a sucker for gimmicks. So the first one I'm trying, and this is legitimately the flavor, is Peppermint Patty. And when I say Peppermint Patty, I mean that's chocolate, peppermint, and fake-ass Bud Light Seltzer flavor together.
Just in general, I'm a big believer that no mint should ever ruin your chocolate. Yes, that means I don't like peppermint patties. Yes, I don't like mint chocolate chip ice cream either. Is it that bad?
It smells like chocolate. Like it straight up just smells like chocolate.
Like real chocolate or medicine chocolate?
Yo, what?
Oh. What does it taste like?
It tastes like someone crushed up a bunch of Junior Mints and then just like threw them into a Bud Light Seltzer and just let them sit out for like 2 days.
Maybe that is how they made it. You don't know.
I'm not happy. I am like, my taste buds are affronted. Yeah.
Oh. Wait, so are you going to go through more flavors tonight on the show? Or is it like Oh, hi, Matt. I clicked on the wrong thing, but Matt's super cool. I turned 22 on December 1st, and I'm doing a watch along with Billy and my friends. Very cool. Have fun. That sounds like a good time. Don't drink this seltzer stuff while you do it. Wait, so are you going to try another one?
Like, I don't know if I want to finish this or dump it out and try another one.
I mean, don't make yourself finish it if you don't like it.
Yeah, but I don't want to waste it. Can't waste alcohol.
Oi. Yeah, I think there's a better path than that.
Let's talk about a topic and see if this gets better.
Okay.
See if this somehow gets better.
All right. Let's do the title topic first. How does that sound?
Let's go for it.
All right. Yeah. So this one's like it's a tough one to talk about, no doubt. This news broke just a little bit before we were supposed to start the show. We were going to have Scream as our main headline. Matt, your face.
Sorry, I just keep going.
This news broke, and it is a priority to cover right now. So, according to the Hollywood Reporter's Heat Vision newsletter, Black Panther 2 was originally scheduled to go into production in March of 2021. That has been delayed, but it hasn't been delayed by that much, which is the surprising thing here. It's only delayed to July 2021, which, given recent heartbreaking, tragic events, it feels like too soon to me. I don't want to make it seem like I've been in the thick of it with the making of the project, but I just don't necessarily see the need to push forward so fast. And I know how important that character is, and I want that character and the characters around him to be able to continue to thrive in the MCU. I was very, very surprised to read this report because I thought it was going to be later than that. I thought they were going to have more time to, I don't know, regroup, process. Again, I don't know anything about the behind the scenes as far as what conversations they've had thus far, but I just hope everyone is, I don't know, being respectful, taking care of themselves, because it's got to be a very trying thing to continue on making these films given what's gone on.
Yeah. I think Drew's piece definitely takes a stance on this, and he brings up a few points where is it too soon? Do you honor the legacy by immediately getting back into it and trying to honor the memory of Bozeman by bringing this character back and immediately doing something with it? I don't know. I think you wait. I think this is too soon. I think that this is now putting some actors in a really dodgy scenario where they now have to face the confliction of, do I stay with this project and see it through for the contracts? Obviously, they have all these Marvel contracts and they have to do things, but I can see actors not wanting to do that. And now I can see actors having to take a stance literally against their moral obligations and the House of Mouse, which kind of sucks a lot. I don't love that, but they're also going to have to fast track an actor now. They're going to have to do a replacement if they're going that route, or they can give the suit to hopefully someone in-house. And I think
there was some reports out there saying that they're eyeing Letitia Wright as Shuri for a bigger role, which it makes sense. I absolutely loved her in Black Panther and everything else I've seen her in since.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Black Mirror, I thought she was great in that, but I definitely think that she has what it takes to step into a bigger role in this franchise. So I'm rooting for her, but I mean, I'm a mighty sensitive individual, and one of the only ways that I can process how this might feel for other people is to at least try to put myself in their shoes. And I might. Maybe it's because I'm like not strong or professional enough, but I don't know if I would be able to do it if I were in this situation.
No, I don't think this is the thing that you have to do right now, and especially announce that this quickly. I mean, I think there might be a reason why they buried this news on a Friday, almost at the end of the day, and didn't really take it public that much. I don't love it. I don't love it, but Marvel's also on their own schedule, and this is obviously a business decision where they still need that movie to come out to tie into everything else that's out there in the MCU, and they've taken a stance on what they favor right now. So am I surprised? No, not really, but
I would hope that everyone involved is at least adjusting the story appropriately, and they're going to do something that does honor his legacy, because I mean, it's pretty obvious. I don't need to state this, but it feels kind of important. Like we wouldn't be where we are in the MCU without Chadwick Boseman's work in it. So I just hope that they find the best possible way to honor what he's done.
I think they will. I think they can, but it still doesn't negate the fact that you didn't give it time to breathe. You can be as respectful as you want, but timing is kind of also everything.
Yeah, I definitely hear you. I did recently get to watch Ma Rainey, and he is, he's so good. He's so good. If I were to make a prediction right now, I'm tempted to say he's definitely getting the Academy Award nomination and likely the win. And when I tell you he deserves it, it's just every single time he was on screen in that movie, I couldn't take my eyes off of him. And everything he did felt so in character, but I also wasn't prepared for anything that character was about to do in the movie, which I think is very appropriate for it. But I mean, it's not that I was surprised that he was capable of doing that, but that's a kind of next level performance that you don't really see very often. So I was just so wowed by him in that.
I mean, anything he does, like you just go through the catalog, anything he does, he was that good at it. So it's not surprising that he's good in Ma Rainey.
All right. We have Andrew here, who's going to serve as our transition from one topic to another. It's very difficult to do that. So thanks for, sorry, Christy. Thanks for doing that for us, Andrew. Speaking of bad timing, Matt, I need your address. How about you say it right here on the show, Matt?
Yeah, I'll DM it later, Andrew. Thanks for
you got some shoes coming your way?
I do. They're ready.
I was looking at the chat to see what Christy said, because I clicked on hers before and I made it go away. But I think that was from something before, which there's like absolutely no hope of me finding right now. So Christy,
yeah, there's a little conversation going up there.
Right.
talk really quickly because I'm going to dump the rest of this out because it's
Oh,
almost
no.
it's almost undrinkable. When have you ever seen me pour something out, Perry?
Never.
Exactly, and I'm
Wait,
pouring this shit
actually,
out.
and
This
I
is
meant-
going right in the garbage.
I meant that wholeheartedly. I have literally never seen Matt waste a
I know.
drop of a drink.
This isn't wasting. This is responsible.
I have more respect for you because you're doing this. See, guys, this is why I just stick to the good old stuff that I love. This wonderful Belgian white blue moon. It's just something else.
So we're gonna try a new one. This is apple crisp.
That actually sounds like it might be a better option.
Anything was better than what I just had.
I'm so curious. Do it.
Smells of fake ass seltzer and apple
Drink it.
crisp.
Oh,
It's not
we're okay.
terrible. It tastes like a watered down. It tastes like a watered down hard cider, actually, which isn't great. Like, why do I want a watered down hard cider?
Is it bad enough that you're not going to want to finish that one?
The flavor just kind of dissipates. Like, you get a little bit of cinnamon and apple when you first try it, and then it just goes away. And now it just tastes like liquid. It just tastes like nondescript liquid.
Does it taste like when you get a fountain soda at a bar and they don't put enough of the syrup in it?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah,
I
a
don't
little bit,
know
yeah.
As you were describing it before, that's immediately the
Flat ass soda.
to mine.
Yeah, this is some flat hard cider that came out of the tap, and they didn't have the CO2 hooked up properly. That is what this could be.
Yeah. Christy's back here. You need to try the light sky. I thought it was orange, but it's tangerine. So good, interesting. I need to do some shopping. Oh shit! I almost forgot. I did have a little drink to show off. This came in the mail the other day.
Why do you get all the fun stuff?
And
when I say fun stuff, I mean alcohol.
This was inside of it.
Oh, is that wine or champagne?
This is wine.
Yeah, I thought it was.
This is a red wine.
Going along with the movie.
Pinot Noir. Yeah. Well, so this has already been eaten because this arrived earlier in the week, but it came with this, and it came with a bag of those chocolate balls that she eats. I thought that was very clever.
Should we just use that as a segue?
I think so.
I think that's an easy segue to say we're going to talk about Run.
Yes. All right. It's time to review the movie Run, which you can watch right now on Hulu. And I'm just going to reveal exactly what I think about the movie. I think you should. I was about to say, I think you should run and see Run and try to be funny about it, but then I felt really stupid.
That's what I do. What do you took my pun?
Anyway, but I really do. I do genuinely think you should watch Run. It is about a mother and a daughter. Mother played by Sarah Paulson, daughter played by newcomer Kiera Allen. And Kiera Allen's character, Chloe, becomes suspicious that her mother isn't entirely who she seems to be, or all right. She basically becomes suspicious that her mother is doing something to her. I'm trying so hard not to reveal anything because
you're doing good.
The movie is so important. But I will just start this analysis by saying, holy shit, Kiera Allen. Holy shit, Sarah Paulson. They're so good, and I am a big believer that Sarah Paulson is good in everything she's in. Even if I don't really love the show or the movie, I always think she is giving it her all, and I always think that whatever she's doing usually does work. Kiera Allen, though, I think is the big wow factor of this movie, and I think her performance in Run is all the proof that you need that, I don't know, write her name down, do whatever you need to do to never forget it, because what a huge talent. There are so many moments in this movie where it is very much on her shoulders to carry something. And I mean, just one beat after the next, she knocks it out of the park.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue what you just said about the performances. I don't think I loved it, though. I definitely don't like it as much as you did. I say this negatively in the sense that it feels like it belongs in the Into the Dark universe. I wasn't.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. It's definitely a level above production wise, but I really wasn't into the story at all. I understand the dilemma presented forth between mother and daughter, and kids go to college, especially when your child is suffering from multiple illnesses. It's a scary thing to deal with. But I was not into Paulson's performance, I'll say specifically. I think she did a good job what she had to do. I just think it was too zany a character for what they were trying to sell. I never bought it in the moment. I never bought that tied together with the tremendous performance of a girl in her wheelchair trying to do all the things that she has to do. I thought that was amazing, spectacular. I think Run is just more, it tries something and it goes for it, and I appreciate it for that. I don't think it succeeds, though.
All right. I hear you. I happen to disagree on this one. I think in both respects, I think one of the things that I was most impressed by with Sarah Paulson's performance in particular is she definitely goes big in some scenes of the movie, but I thought that they established the relationship with the two of them and like paved the way there well enough that while it does feel like a heightened thriller, I still thought that relationship and their situation felt just grounded enough. But I love what they did with the Chloe character for so many reasons. I love how believably smart and capable she was. I just loved the idea that I 100% believed that she knew how to fix her 3D printer, that she was able to like process certain medical information in order to connect the dots. It's just her solving the mystery felt so real and earned to me. And I feel like that's a big reason why Run sticks its landing so well.
That part, yes, she earns her solving of the mystery. I just thought the mystery was ludicrous. Like, I mean, I think that's the best way to put it. It takes a lot of liberties, and I think it's very quick to the draw. It's one of those movies that it's like Hush in a way, where it just starts immediately and you have to understand the character dynamic without much going on. And I don't think it benefits, at least in my perspective, the way I read the film, I don't think it benefits the relationship between mother and daughter as well as it should. It just immediately, you believe everything because this is what two people have known their entire life, blah, blah, blah. I just don't think there's enough backstory before all that stuff happens.
Interesting. I don't know. Now I want to say I thought it hit the ground running pretty well. I gotta stop doing this. But we also need to talk about the fact that this is Anish Chaganty's second feature after Searching. And that was another thing I really appreciated about this movie was the fact that he took a format that he worked with on his first feature and then did something completely different. And, you know, he had told me when I interviewed him for this that this almost felt like a first feature because this is a traditionally shot movie. Searching is not. And I do think that this movie is just further proof that he has an eye for this kind of stuff. And I've watched the movie a few times now, and the attention to detail is really through the roof. And I think if you watch it again, there's going to be certain little things and maybe even just camera moves and ways that he captures certain things that you're really going to appreciate. I can't believe how many times I've watched this movie. That this is definitely going to be something that I enjoy watching over and over, but I'm a little bummed, to be honest, that you didn't like it. But you didn't like it as much as I did.
Yeah, it's a quick watch. It's an easy watch. I'm not going to say it like dawdles and does things wrong there. The pacing is where it needs to be. Yeah, no, the pacing's there. But I also think, again, that goes back to the fact that it hits the ground running, as you said, but it doesn't earn that quick draw start, I don't think. Again, that's just to me. Okay.
We're going to have to agree to disagree on this one.
We will.
What are you giving it on the Dewey Decimovie scale, Matt?
I'm sitting at a 2.5 on the Dewey Decimovie.
I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. You're entitled to your opinion, and I'm not judging you for it. Did you believe that? I said that?
No, I mean, I didn't, so that's fine.
I just couldn't contain myself.
Do you think I care about judgment? Do you see what I'm drinking?
That's fair. All right. I'm going much higher. I am giving Run 4 Deweys out of 5 on the Dewey Dessa movie scale. Again, I've told you I've watched it more than once, and I can feel like the hooks, digging in, where it's that kind of thing that I will probably put it on fairly frequently. And, not that anyone really does this anymore, but it's one of those things like if you're channel surfing and you see it, and even if you jump in at the beginning, the middle, or wherever, you're probably going to have to sit there and watch it through to the end. And just one more time, Kiera freaking Allen. Job well done. I am so incredibly happy for her and cannot wait to see her in more things. So, wait, I need to dedicate this review to some cool people. People that you know, Matt. Patreon thanks time, all right? For my top tier team. They are Luke, Ian, Billy, and Evan. I see you there, Evan, right now. Evan's yelling at me for saying pun.
The pun usage. Yeah, I saw
that. I know. I get it. I understand.
Puns are allowed.
I understand. But thank you guys for supporting the campaign and for making this review happen. It's greatly appreciated.
Heck yeah.
What's up next, Matt?
That is up to you. We have a few things we can hit on. So, yes. What?
I think we should do. How about Scream?
Yeah, it's another big one. Do Scream.
Okay.
You know more about that. You have all the details. So this is you.
I'm pulling up my interview right now. So I'm gonna have to tell you guys this. A little while back, I got to participate in a virtual set visit for the new Scream movie, and it was pretty much just do an interview on Zoom. But because Kevin Williamson posted about the title, the rap, and those images, we were allowed to unveil one interview we did that day, which is the filmmaking team, Radio Silence, and one of the producers from Project X. So there's a lot to dig into here. Where should I start? Matt? How about
All
right. How about so I posted the full interview on Collider, but I broke out one particular story because it just really caught my eye. It was actually from the very end of the conversation, and someone, because it was a group interview, someone had asked them about creating their death scenes because Scream has so many iconic ones. So, how do you figure out the right combination between your own creativity and ones that are inspired by the original kills? So they basically, talked about how iconic those were and how much they're really putting into making sure that they knock it out of the park in that respect. So they talked pretty extensively about the importance of having characters that you love in the middle of these scenarios, which makes sense. That adds a significant amount of weight to a kill scene. But the part that I found most interesting was when someone said, this is the lead in at least, they were also talking about how some of your favorite Scream kills are likely very clean, clear, and simple ideas. For example, saying, oh, the garage door. Oh, the sound booth. Oh, the two-way mirror. You know what I mean? So they're keeping that in mind. But then, and I believe it was Matt who said this of Radio Silence, he said, and one of the things we got from watching a million Wes Craven interviews is how he was always so clear about you can't have fun with watching someone die. It has to always be, that's a human being going through something horrible. And if it's anything other than that, it becomes farcical and it becomes funny. And that's great in some other franchises. Final D comes to mind where it's like, that's what it is. Scream is not that. Scream has to still be about real people. And I think that's one of the lessons we got from Wes Craven that has just guided us every step of the way through this. I understand where he's coming from. But when I think about a lot of my favorite slasher franchises in general, it's a very difficult thing to describe because I don't necessarily think it, like, my enjoyment is coming from having fun watching people die. I think there's a very big difference between having fun and entertainment value. And I just hope it's a balance of, you know, feeling the peril and really caring about the characters with that ingenuity and entertainment level. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I understand the quote completely because this isn't Friday the 13th, or this isn't, especially like if we're talking Craven, this isn't Nightmare on Elm Street. These movies aren't. Here, let's put it this way: the Scream movies, to me, I remember the chases more than the kills. The kills actually don't stick with me. It's everything that leads up to the kill that I remember so vividly. Like anyone running through a house, and like I feel like Scream is so good at setting up the slasher death. And I'm not saying the deaths are not iconic. I'm not saying that they fail, but I love the pursuit in the Scream movies. That is my favorite part. And I think that plays into kind of what they're saying, because that's the emphasis that I see. The emphasis isn't on a Nightmare on Elm Street movie where the deaths are the big point. Like Freddy Krueger gets to do whatever he wants in Dreamland. So he gets to eat meatballs with people's heads on them, or stuff their faces to like bursting and then they explode. Like stuff like that is bonkers, but you're playing in a fantasy world where you're trying to go over the top and you're trying to do that kind of stuff. Scream was never about that. Scream is all grounded. So I feel like it's going to be brutal. I feel like the kills are going to be gory as heck, but even think about Ready or Not. Like you said before in your interview, just talking to them, like I read parts of it, and this is very much going to be their Ready or Not meets Scream, because Ready or Not was already so much Scream, and the deaths were brutal. The deaths, you know, the maids alone getting just slaughtered was like some pretty graphic stuff, but it doesn't stick with you in the same way because you're not remembering the most violent thing you've ever seen. You're remembering everything that kind of led up to it. But in the Scream movies, you are remembering everything that led up to it. So I think it'll be a marriage. I think it'll be a marriage of that.
I hear that. I think I'm just very hung up on the use of the word fun.
I know what they meant, because
I know.
Look at it like,
I know what they meant also, but like, you know me and the Final Destination franchise also. And the second that franchise was name dropped, I like 100% get what he's going for. And he's not wrong, because Final Destination is all about these extremely outrageous kills and watching them happen step by step by step. Maybe sometimes more so than caring about the character, but I still don't think that descriptor applies to every Final Destination death.
No, but again, in the sense of the movie world, those deaths are played for fun. Like you just said, you don't care about some of the characters because you are just there to see how they die, because that's how those blueprints.
Like I'm sitting here and I'm going through. Spoiler alert for the first Final Destination. Let's go through some of the kills in that movie. First, after the plane, at least, and also like the plane is vicious. There's literally nothing fun about that plane scene.
No, that is not fun.
Think about the next death, Todd in the shower. It is vicious and extremely upsetting, and you care about Todd as a good friend. And then who comes after Todd? Is that already the teacher? Is that Miss Luton?
I haven't seen the first in a while. The sequels I've seen much more recently.
If that is the next one, her death is also especially brutal, and she is a very emotional character. So I think that part of that brutality and the success of it comes from the fact that you are emotionally attached to what she values and the trauma she just went through.
So here's what I'll say. I think when people talk about the Final Destination movies, they're thinking more of the more recent ones, because that's when death just gets bonkers and is like doing like Rube Goldberg machines just to kill people. Where the first one, it's much more of a slasher film than people remember. It's actually like pretty straightforward. Like Sean William Scott just dies because the train kicks like a sign his way, and it like decapitates him. So like that stuff is all pretty brutal and vicious. It's not until you get into the sequels when they realize, oh, people just kind of want to see some wild ass deaths. Let's have a car engine go into somebody's head and chew it out and stuff like that.
We do not speak of the Final Destination. Seriously, when I'm having like a franchise-wide conversation, I'm seriously plucking number 4 out of my brain for the sake of that. But going to, let's say, number 5, like the death in the massage parlor, that's silly shit. Like
silly shit. It's silly.
I'll break on that one, but you know. Like even when you think about something as wild as the gymnastics death, there still is like a real like meanness and a very like
there is
rounded quality to that.
Like I said, when you use the word fun, we know the movies that he's talking about. It's that you don't have to worry about that being a screen. You don't have to worry about that overtaking. They already showed in Ready or Not they can do the vibe, and Scream is going to be their even more serious take on that kind of vibe.
I just got very intense about that. If
I saw that you literally just went on a tangent. And you're like,
seriously, two of my favorite horror franchises of all time are Scream and Final Destination. Anyway, what do you think about the title of the movie? Because I saw some very heated tweets about it, and even though Scream is my favorite horror franchise of all time, and Scream is my second favorite movie of all time, like I wasn't offended in any sense by them just calling this Scream. What's the big deal?
I'm not offended by it. Here's my take on it. I don't care in some regards, but then also why are you doing it? Because you're just setting yourself up for comparisons. All you're doing is naming your movie Scream and asking people to now put it against the first Scream. Like at the same titles, people are going to confuse it as a reboot. Like there's all these things that you've introduced now just by calling it Scream, where I don't care personally, but you could avoid so much discourse just by not using the same name. Okay. I don't know why we have to duplicate.
So I have a question for you. Did you ever see anyone else do that with the new Halloween movie? Because I honestly, I didn't.
Maybe not. Maybe that's a good point. When Halloween came out, I think there was a little discourse around like, why are we just calling it Halloween? But that's
maybe when they first announced it. But I feel like once the movie was here, I don't know. I never had a problem with it. I never saw it confuse anyone. I didn't see any of the conversations specifically going towards, well, because it's called Halloween, let's compare it to the original. You know what I mean?
That's fair. I'm just trying to think of things that are wrong with it. And again, I just think it's you're inviting things when you know you can get around it.
Okay. So if that, let's say that is the case, they're inviting some challenging things where by picking another name, they could have gotten around it. That's one corner. What if in the other, it's this mentality of, if we call it Scream 5, we might alienate some moviegoers out there who are maybe new to the franchise and won't watch it because they think they're 4 movies behind.
I mean, that hasn't stopped. I think the same argument comes out. When has that ever stopped another franchise? When have we seen that with another franchise where 5 movies in, people were like, oh.
I think it depends what franchise we're talking about, but I think that I can't pull examples off the top of my head right now, but we can talk about a million that have diminishing returns as they go on. So
here's one, Bride of Chucky. Like, you have a sequel that gets announced years after the first one. It's a complete turn for the franchise, and you call it something completely different so that people kind of know what they're getting into versus using the same name again and just kind of like rebooting things in a way. I'm trying to think of franchises where
you're suggesting that Scream should have taken a Bride of Chucky spin on the title for the 5th film.
Possibly, yeah. I think you do something and just say because that would also fit the Scream mentality in a way of just we're at our 5th movie, so now's the time when we go bonkers. They just call it fucking Ghostface Goes to Space or some shit because it's that's where they are right now, and he doesn't have to. It's just something dumb, but
Ghostface X.
Don't you bring up Jason X? You don't want me to go on a tangent there.
Yeah. All right, we got a super chat from Steven. Hey Steven, how you doing, man? Urban Legend. Steven, are you referring to Fun Kills? I haven't rewatched Urban Legend in forever.
I just rewatched Urban Legend. It just hit Shudder and I rewatched it.
There was a reason why I almost watched the Urban Legends sequel recently. Was there a weird sequel?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I think I interviewed someone who was in it and I almost purposely watched it because I wanted to bring it up. Hold on, I'm on the page right now. I can figure it out in a heartbeat. Or maybe I can't. I might be lying.
Yeah, Urban Legend is
find it.
Some silly ridiculousness, but it's kind of the good kind.
I can't remember. Is it Kate Mara? Was she in an Urban Legend movie?
Yes, Mark Chapman just said Kate Mara's in one.
That's definitely why I had Urban
written
Legend,
it down.
Bloody Mary. I almost watched it, but I didn't. Do we want to pick another section of the Scream thing? There's so much here.
Would like to.
There's so much here, and I can't wait until I can tell you more. Also, they're doing they're basically taking a play out of Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson's playbook, and they're not revealing the ending to the actors, which is interesting. I understand why they're doing it. What else do we got here? Oh, there was a bit here. I know what I'm looking for. It's this part. We all know that the Scream movies have that meta nature to them. And if you think about it, the horror genre was in a very different place when the 1996 movie came out compared to where the genre is today. So when we asked about tapping into current trends, Matt had said, the movie has a lot to do with the current state of horror, but one of the things we talked about is that unlike when the original started and horror was sort of on a downward path and it wasn't that popular anymore, people outside of the mainstream were still into it, but the mainstream had given up on horror. That's not where we're at now. Obviously, horror is as big as anything right now, and so it's fun to go at it from that angle, but also at the same time for us, scary is scary, and it always will be. If something's truly scary, it's just going to be effing scary, and that's our. Why did I bleep myself? Fucking scary.
Good censorship. Good censorship.
All right, but that is it's not, the most revealing about the story or anything, but it's an interesting thing to consider because I feel like that's what this franchise has to do to continue to evolve and stay fresh. They have the benefit of basically having that be handed to them by the fact that the genre in general in real life is constantly evolving. It's in a completely different place compared to 1996. And I think the same is true from comparing it to 2011 and Scream 4. So they have a lot of creative possibilities if this is their approach to it.
That is the biggest thing for me about Scream 4 even. If you watch them all in order, the time between Scream and Scream 3 is not very long. There wasn't that much for the genre to actually evolve into. So you kind of had three movies that played in their own sandbox. And why I think Scream 4 is the best of the sequels is because it gets to play with so many new toys and it gets to do that reinvention that the first Scream did. Like the first Scream was such a statement maker when it came out because it was able to take a place and time in horror history and completely throw it on its head and have fun with it. The two sequels were trying to do the same in the same period. Mm-hmm. Then you have Scream 4, which is all about reboot, remake culture. It's all coming into the screen life stuff too. You have the YouTube angle. Like there were so many things it could play with and it does it all so well. And now you're telling me that you get another basically decade between those movies. The new one has, just think about even what horror has come into in the recent time. Like you can play with the elevated nature. You can play with all of these things and there's just so much they can do. There's so much, and that's why I'm excited.
It's a very, very good point. Speaking of ranking the Scream movies, do you know who has the same list as you? Alison Brie. So
you know I'm right. I'm right.
And I'm like a shit liar too. So we recorded a Collider Ladies Night for Happiest Season, which I absolutely loved. I'll give you guys an official review soon. But at the beginning of the interview, we were talking about cats and I told her Deputy Dewey, blah, blah, blah. And then she gave me her rankings for the Scream movies and obviously mine dribbled out as well. But in all honesty, my rankings truly are Scream, then Scream 2. But I mean like right behind it is Scream 4. It's like all of those are on a very, very high tier. And even though I have a very soft spot in my heart for Scream 3, like I know the quality is night and day, but Scream 2, and Scream 4 are very, very good movies.
They are. They're very, I think there's a little bit more of a gap for me between 4 and 2, but like it's still not like they're still all movies I enjoy tremendously. I just think 1 and 4 to me are almost on the same level. They're not on the same level, but almost on the same level of reinvention. And that's why I think I hold 4 so much higher.
I understand that. Scream 4 just like widely needs more credit than it gets. It really bums me out when people say
I think it came out at the wrong time. I think people were really sick of reboots, remakes, and all these things. So Scream kind of was at the back end of like, I mean, I'm doing a column on Bloody Disgusting. I keep mentioning like where I compare remakes and stuff like that. And I'm doing so many mid 2000 remake, basically reassessments, because we forget that how many of them came out in the mid 2000s. So now you have Scream 4, which kind of, like you just said, 2011. So it's on the tail end of that whole, I guess we'll call it a movement. And I think people were just sick of it. I think the horror community especially was sick of it because everyone was really coming down on reboots and remakes. And that's around the time when the conversation was originality is dead. I think Scream 4 is incredibly original, but to the outsider and to most people, it was just another Scream movie. Why do we need this? Okay.
I can kind of understand that. I think Scream 4 is one of those situations where I have to realize I'm a diehard obsessed fan, and I was in a very small bubble when that movie came out where it was my everything. So it consumed my world. But when you put it that way, I can understand why some people blocked it out.
Also, wait, I want to go back to the fun question really quickly, and the fun conversation about kills, because at 5:06, I saw this. Sorry,
in the live chat.
This has been terrible. Why did you bring this up, Perri? Why are we talking about Scream? No, but Corey said at 5:06. Are there slasher movies that the kills aren't fun? Isn't that part of the genre? And here is what I will argue, and here's what I'll say to that. I think there was a period where slasher movies were all about fun, and I think that was like the 80s, obviously, late 70s, maybe not even late 70s. I think the 80s is when that kind of, we'll call them like the trashterpiece kind of slashers, but that's when slashers became about the kills and became about fun. And as horror evolved and we got away from that, I think we're now entering the realm where slashers are less about fun and more about making a statement in a way. I would more about the message and the statement. And I think that's the difference when I watch new age slashers. The new age slashers we're seeing are just more gruesome. They're more vile. They're more violent in the sense that we feel the deaths more versus the old 80s slashers. Yeah, we laughed as people died. I mean, I rewatch how many of those and I laugh when people die because they're ludicrous. They're insane. They're also practical effects that look cheesy at times. And they're also practical effects that look like literally plastic is being killed.
Yeah.
We don't get that anymore. Things are more realistic. Things are more technically advanced. I think that's where the fun is kind of like dissipating. And now we have the new age of slashers.
That's kind of, no, that's true. It's like when I think about some of the Friday the 13th movies that I like rewatching, like, I don't know, Manhattan and stuff like that.
Love Manhattan.
It looks like the kills are absurd. I'm not taking them seriously. And yes, in that instance, maybe I can apply the idea of having fun watching someone die just because it's so outlandish. But
we're not having fun watching someone. Like, we're not having fun with the death. We're having fun
with the death itself. It's with the craftsmanship behind, the movie magic of showing the death. I think that's where the word fun applies. But I still don't think in any other case, like even in a Final Destination with the most ridiculous kill in the world, I don't think it's ever about the fun. I think my enjoyment of slasher movies in particular, and horror in general, comes from this thrill that I get out of seeing the step, like you were saying before, like the steps paving the way to the kill. It isn't an actual like fun enjoyment or relishing in the kill itself. I think that's
the difference. But that's the difference though, because when you watch Jason Takes Manhattan, as Mirror Domains has just brought up, when Julius Gaw gets his head boxed off by Jason, that's fun. I'm sorry. When a man gets his head boxed off by a slasher villain, that is fun because it's not supposed to be serious. It is supposed to be absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably the key of it right there. I'm glad I brought that up now. Apparently it was discussion worthy after all, and not just something weird I was obsessing over.
I mean, it could be both.
So I haven't seen good old Caleb in the live chat today, but I did promise him this because I felt like an asshole for missing
him away.
For missing this. I know. I hope you're not mad at me, Caleb, for missing his super chat last week. So we've got a super fantasy football update specifically for you, Caleb, right now. Matt, what's your record?
You just talk about what you want to talk about. All right. I'm in second in another league. That's all I care about. Talk about what you want to talk about.
I'm gonna briefly say.
Look. See, now you have a super chat to actually talk about it. There you go.
So, I'll just update you on Matt's status in our critics league.
I'm gonna get another drink while you do this.
All right, I can really go for it when he walks away. Ready? Matt is done for. He's 3-7. He has a 52% chance of winning this week, but like I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like he doesn't have a chance. He's got Mahomes, and I always believe in him, but I don't know if you can come back and get into the playoffs when you're currently 3-7.
I already can't. I know I can't make the playoffs. Don't worry about it. I'm in the playoffs in the only league I can win money in, so that's why that matters.
Okay, that's fair. You told me that I had no chance at making the playoffs, but I think
you're winning.
I think I'm still on the cusp because in this league I'm 5-5, and I feel like if I win this week and a couple like specific people lose, I really do have a good chance. But
put up Evan's last comment. Evan has a really important comment.
Makes me nervous. Oh, Evan.
It's an important comment. Thank you.
This Matt is only 382. I feel like that's still a respectable number, though.
You're my boy, Evan.
All right, but also in our Patreon fantasy football league, I want to like make sure I get the stats right here. But part of the reason why I was supposed to bring this up last week is because I was playing Caleb, and it was. So first of all, that one was so freaking close. Like the two of us were neck and neck the entire time, and I like barely eked out a win at the end.
Yeah.
The week before, though, Matt, do you know how much I won by?
I don't know.
0.04.
Oh, that's a little amount. Yeah, that is a tiny amount.
So it hit a point where. Like, I think I was down something like 3 points. And James, I don't know if James is here tonight, but I was 3 points ahead. And all James needed was 3 more points. And he had 2 players left, I think. I hope I'm getting this right, James, and not just, like, screwing this up. But he had... Okay, no, I'm fucking this up all over the place. Anyway, I was up 3 points.
Let's go.
James just needed to have his kicker get more than 3 points. It was that game where Tampa Bay like barely scored anything, and he kicks one field goal and gets 3 points, and the math wound up being only like I just can't.
No, I 2 weeks ago. I can't 2 weeks ago, I
math tonight, man.
2 weeks ago, I was in a must-win scenario in the league where I'm going to make the playoffs easily, and I only won because my defense got a single sack. I won by a single sack. So that's 1 point. So yes, I know what you're talking about, Perri.
All right. I'm glad we
anyway
wound that down effectively.
I have just tried the ginger snap, which I'm not happy about.
Okay. Wait, can you
not happy about this one.
Rank them.
I mean, like, okay, so there's good hard seltzers just here. Here is the bar for good hard seltzers. The apple crisp comes in about here. So already we're below. We're below. But here's apple crisp. Here's ginger snap. And then I can't fit peppermint patty anywhere, even in my apartment, because it's like below the floor.
We should come up with a drinking game where like the losiest of losers has to drink that. I don't know. Like what's like the biggest drinking game offense where you have to drink it?
I think we'll figure one out.
Okay.
We'll figure it out. What else can we talk about? Do you want to talk about Wonder Woman on HBO Max? Because we talked about it last week, but like now that's an official thing.
All right. I mean I'd be lying if I didn't admit that I was excited. Like I'm so glad that on Christmas I get to sit at home and watch Wonder Woman. It's an interesting decision to make. If I'm being completely honest, I have a very hard time judging decisions like that when I don't have a full understanding of what the future holds. That's the biggest problem. I feel like I feel like I'm semi uninformed judging them so harshly now, when for all I know, theaters won't fully get back up and running and operational for an extended period of time, and it could really screw them over from a business perspective to not just release certain movies on a certain timeline.
But why are the movies they keep releasing mostly female directed and female led? That's my question. And that's okay. Here, I will be the bad guy because I know I'm fine with that and I can put myself out there being that.
Fair.
I am conflicted. I will say conflicted. I'm not mad. I'm not anything like that because we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. But here are the facts. Number one, Patty Jenkins is fine with this. She tweeted support about it or Instagrammed it. Mm-hmm. She says it's time to see the film and she's ready for it, which I'm fine with. If she's happy with it, like, good. I don't want to like rain on that parade at all, because if you're excited about your film finally coming out and you think this is the right way to do it, great. I'm happy for you. We don't know, number one, if that was contractual. She had to do that or something in the nature of it was coming out anyway. So why are you going to say anything bad about your film because it's a blockbuster movie? That's kind of stuff to think about right there. We don't know if that was a thing that she said because she had to or because she wanted to. I'm just saying that. Number two, most of the movies that are getting dumped on VOD are female-led, female-directed, or POC-directed and led. And that's just literally facts. Like, that is everything that's been coming out. I mean, I'm not going to be surprised if Black Widow is the next one that it gets announced for VOD immediately, because that would just keep the trend going. Why is Batman not being rushed to VOD? Why are other movies that are being delayed a year from now? Why did Fast and Furious immediately get delayed to like a safe point in like 2021 versus Wonder Woman saying like it has to come out now? It doesn't have to come out now. Candyman literally like pushed itself out far enough.
You're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong about the track record as far as what was put on streaming services and not given theatrical releases. But when you bring up the example of, let's say, a Fast and Furious movie, that would be the dumbest thing in the world to release that on a streaming service. I mean, that is like pure popcorn fare, and there is literally no chance you're coming anywhere close to your box office returns if you release that at home. That would be a flat out waste of investment. The other thing to consider is bringing up a Candyman, where Candyman being pushed so far away was a vote of confidence, where the studio thought that they had something special there. I don't want to pass judgment on a movie that I haven't seen yet. And I don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but I'm in the back of I don't want to put this out there and then everyone say like I have no faith in Wonder Woman, but in the back of my mind, in a teeny tiny place,
you're allowed to have an opinion. It's fine.
It is concerning that they chose that movie, because one might think that executives that are concerned about dollars are saying, maybe it won't make as much as the first one anyway, so we might as well put it there. You don't know. Or
so here, okay.
Wait. The flip side of that is maybe things aren't going well enough at HBO Max, and they have enough faith in that movie that if they drop it there, it could turn things around a little.
So faith is a weird word to use there, because the way I think this is happening is Wonder Woman is being sacrificed for HBO Max subs. That is 100% what's happening. Wonder Woman grossed $800 million worldwide. Disney alone has 73.3 million subscribers. HBO Max has 8.6 domestic. And that matters because Wonder Woman is only coming out simultaneously on HBO Max in the US. So this movie is destined to have like abysmal reactions, because they want to drive that 8.6 million up, and they have the Justice League revamp coming out, and they need another title to do it. And they are literally sacrificing Wonder Woman, a movie that is an $800 million box office worth movie, just for this service.
Mm-hmm. Here, I want to bring up two comments. This one from AJ. I like the long statement from the WB guy, forget his name, saying we have no idea what the right thing is. We're just trying to figure this all out. And I definitely respect that, because that's the truth of the matter. And being bold enough to actually say that and not try to pretend like you know the answer, I think is probably the right move. Then MK Songbird has a quote from something, I believe. They're going to make less money for the greater good of building HBO Max. This is from a media analyst at Lightshed Partners. This is putting the long-term future of the company ahead of profits.
It is. Exactly, it is. And I'm
right.
not saying if that's a good or bad thing. I just think it can be a very bad thing. And it also, we don't know what the future holds. That AJ said it correctly. We don't know when theaters are going to open. We don't know any of these things. It's just frustrating to see the same kind of movies be the guinea pigs. That's the biggest problem. As we're all trying to find it out, the movies that are being selected to try and find it out with tend to have similarities, and that's frustrating.
Yep, I see those similarities. So Matt, we have 5 minutes left before we have to go. I think we should explain to people why we are leaving this stream and going somewhere else without doing beer pong tonight. But what we're doing is a first-time endeavor for me, so I am leaving it to you. Explain to everybody where to follow us for the rest of the night.
Wait, literally. So actually talk really quickly about what I got you into, because there's a tweet that I want to bring up that has the actual link.
I have no clue how to explain this. I've never.
I found the tweet. So your job is to put the tweet in the chat. I'm gonna message you the link right now.
I hope I know how to do this. Wait. When you say put the tweet, do you mean just like putting the URL?
Oh, sorry, no. URL. My bad.
I can handle this. I'm okay.
So, for those who don't know and don't follow me or Perri on the Twitters, but most of you do at this point, we're gonna live stream some Among Us tonight, and I've never done like video game streaming online. I don't think Perri has either. And we have a gang of horror journalists who are going to commit murders and accuse each other of the said murders and try to basically solve murder mysteries in space for 2 hours after this. So at 6 o'clock PST, you do the math in your time zones. We are going to have the Horror Queers podcast, Scarred for Life podcast. My bad. My podcast, Certified Forgotten, me and Matt Monagle, and then Perri and our friend Lindsay, who you all know as well, will be joining us. Lindsay is legit like a pro at Among Us. She plays 24/7.
What should I know? Like, I literally know nothing about this game except for the screenshots that I've seen you guys share.
What you should know is you play a little space astronaut, and at the beginning of the game, you're a crew.
Why is Evan saying this? Why?
Okay. At the beginning of the game, you're either a crew member or an imposter. If you're an imposter, imagine it like The Thing. So let's do it this way. If you're a crewmate, you're trying to figure out who's infected and who's killing people. If you're a imposter, you're the one trying to get away with all the murders and kill everyone before they win the game. So
what?
So when there's a dead body, there's going to be rounds where we all talk to each other and say, I find a dead body. I'm going to say, report, I found a dead body. And then we're all talking, and the imposters have to convince people that they didn't commit the murder, and everyone else has to figure out via however you want to do it, like try to trap people in their own words, like any kind of verbalization, interrogation.
Can you just give me like one tip? Like what's something you wish you knew about the game the first time you played? I feel like you're trying to like not give me the good tips.
What are you talking about? No, I'll give you everything. Don't worry about it.
I really feel like I'm being set up to lose right now.
You're not. There's a few people that haven't really played yet, so you're in good company. I don't know. There's no like strategy. You just have to get away with murder. So, I mean, get experienced. I don't know. That's my only tip.
Okay. I literally, like, even though you kind of just like gave a 101 on it, I still have no idea what to expect. Amelia,
you just have to lie. You just have to lie. Lie your pants off.
For every tip you give me, I'll give you another freshly recommendation. It's all going to be the white bean and turkey dish, because that's my favorite.
Hold on. All right, we're gonna do a round table really quick of the remaining topics, and we're gonna do it in a minute. We're gonna do it in 2 minutes.
Okay,
can we do it?
Go. Give it a minute.
Predator 5. Right, we're at 5. I think we're at 5. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, 5. Predator, Predator 2, Predators, and The Predator. 5.
Thoughts? Dan Trachtenberg, 10 Cloverfield Lane.
He gives me hope. It's hard to come back super hopeful after The Predator, which I thought was a big gigantic mess. But I think the Predator concept in general is genius. In the right hands, maybe it'll pan out.
I will never not be excited for a Predator movie. It is a messy, messy franchise. Not a lot of highs, honestly, but I will be excited every time because it's one of the best creatures in Hollywood. Hands down.
Okay.
Second topic.
Yes.
Lord and Miller plus Channing Tatum equals new Universal monster movie. And the exact report is that it is based on a classic Universal monster. So we don't know if it's specifically remaking a Universal monster movie in the way that Leigh-Whannell obviously did with The Invisible Man. Mm-hmm. But we do know it is at least influenced by a classic monster. Channing Tatum is being eyed to star. It's not like official, but it's being created with Channing Tatum as the hopeful star. And Lord Miller signed on immediately. So what do you think here? Which classic monster do you think they're going to get Tatum involved in?
Oh my, I don't know. I really want a Creature from the Black Lagoon movie, but hearing this story, it made me think of Halloween with David Gordon Green, basically just bringing in filmmakers who you wouldn't think would veer towards genre to one, and it wound up being great. So I'm also just I'm a big fan of all 3 of them in general, so I am very much into this.
Invisible Man is off the table because that's been done already. Wolfman is off the table because we know Mr. Gosling will be taking that mantle. Yeah. Isn't Karen Kusama doing wait.
But you said it's inspired by.
It is, but like they're not going to do 2 Wolfman movies. Like, are they?
I think they could. I mean, how many? There's 2 Pirates of the Caribbean movies,
but at the same time,
Disney.
That's
fair. Like literally at the same time. And who knows, it could be a race to the finish thing. They could have a completely different spin on it that makes both movies feel very different. For all I know, there's some sort of strategy where they're playing into each other and riding a wave in a sense. Who knows?
I think Wolfman is that comes to mind first, but I would love to see Tatum play around with a Frankenstein creature. So I hope it's something in that vein. And the last one is that Joaquin Phoenix is teaming up with Ari Aster in his new movie. So we now get this weirdo flick from Ari Aster where apparently it's about Channing Tatum goes home, or Channing Tatum, wow, Joaquin Phoenix. I was going to say Channing Tatum and Joaquin Phoenix. No, Joaquin Phoenix goes home after the death of his mother and basically finds some stuff out about his past that comes out supernaturally. It's supposed to be wicked, wild, crazy, like kind of kitchen sink stuff. Okay. So I'm into it. You know, you're putting Joaquin Phoenix and Aster together. I'll
watch anything Ari Aster makes.
I don't think there's a going wrong there. So yeah, let's get weird. Let's get Joaquin Phoenix real weird in the horror genre.
I'm all for it. But right now I'm all for getting super murdery.
Yeah, we're going to get murdery. I have surprises.
I might have been sent a little Among Us cheat sheet.
Amelia's helping you, isn't she?
No.
You can't lie. You're so bad at lying. You're already like...
I'm going to be so bad at this.
You're going to be so bad at... Yo, Perri, do a shot real quick.
All right.
Let's get drunker.
I think we need to go, guys. But again, I just put it in the live chat. Obviously, you can't copy and paste that. But if you check it out in the live chat, you could move over there with us now. And we're going to be playing for a good while. So the night is not over yet. But thank you so much for joining us for the Merri Hour. We'll be back to beer pong next week. See you guys on Twitch.